Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about ILUS stock. Nicholas Link, the CEO of Ilus, made a video today, shareholder update for the 21st. The first video from them in a long time, and I just want to summarize what came from this video. It was an hour long of a whole lot of fluff. I promise you, it was a lot of fluff. I would know. My videos are mainly fluff. It's like 95% pointing at a chart and saying buy here, and the other 5% is maybe useful news. So I would know. I would know. I know fluff when I see it. Trust me. So a lot of it was just fluff, and let's just touch on the important points he made. So he kept talking about dilution. Oh, it hurts me too, guys. I hate when I dilute myself. And I even wrote a little comment here. Well, then stop hurting yourself, you masochist. WTF, LOL. Who cares about you? I want my money, right? Ultimately, we care about ourselves. We want to make money. I don't care about you. You can dilute your. How about using your how about using your money to pay for whatever you need to pay for? Don't dilute. Just pay out of your own pocket, Niglink. That way you don't hurt us at least. You know what I'm saying? Okay, I'm messing around, but seriously though, he kept talking about how dilution hurts me. It hurts me. It hurts me too, guys. It's gonna happen. And this was followed by something absolutely horrible. They're not buying back shares for a long time. Let that sink in for a second. Really think about what he's saying. Because they made a statement in a shareholder letter saying we're going to bring the outstanding shares under a billion. That has not happened. And he just stated that they're not buying shares back for a long time, meaning the outstanding shares will never be coming down anytime soon. Their definition of soon, which, as I've mentioned many times, they said they were going to uplist soon. Back in 2021, their definition of soon is like 3 to 5 years, it seems. So if they're not buying back shares for a long time, oh boy, it might be 20, 30 years before we see a share buyback. What does that mean? More than likely, they're going to continue to dilute. Because if they're not buying back shares, then what are they doing with the outstanding shares? They're probably just going to continue to dilute. That's what I can. That's the only thing I can assume, especially with the fact that he said, "Look, dilution hurts, but you know it's going to continue to happen because that's kind of it's necessary. They're not on the they're not they're not public for nothing." So anyone asking about share buybacks, not happening for a long time. We're never going to see the share structure under 1 billion outstanding shares. That's never happening. Clearly, if it does happen, it'll be 30 years from now, 50 years from now. So most of us will be dead, unfortunately. So that doesn't even. Oh, I just said the DEAD word. Unalive. We will be unalived, my friends. Okay, now let's move on to this one. We will not be dropping PRs. I wrote this because he basically made fun of AITX. He said, "Hey, we're not going to be that kind of company that's constantly dropping PRs, taking pictures and posting them on social media, and so basically no communication with shareholders." They said they're under the watchful eye of what, the SEC or FINRA, or I forgot who they mentioned, but the point is they don't want to drop a lot of PRs mainly because they are uplisting three different tickers, and they're under the scrutiny of, I think it was FINRA. So they're kind of just playing it safe. And they said that after the uplist of ILIS, they will start dropping PRs. So meaning they're going to actually communicate with their shareholders beyond just every once in a while, every once in a blue moon. But knowing them, if you know them like I know them, they talk a lot of talk, but they don't really follow through. So we'll see what happens. He basically made fun of AITX Steve Reinhardt and said, "Yeah, we're not going to be dropping PRs and making weekly videos." And so I expect the share price to continue to go lower if they're not going to be dropping PRs and hiring a professional, an IR professional, whatever you want to call them. Just send the intern to do it. I mean, come on. Okay, to follow that up, he said something very important. They are going to continue to do what they've been doing, growing the business. And then I wrote down here, while the shareholders see zero, no return, no return on all of their negative positions. So I wrote this for a reason, because if you look at the share price, guys, I don't even have to pull up the chart. You probably know the chart. You know the price movement as well as I do. he stated this, and it says so much. They are going to do what they've been doing for the past 3 years. What have they been doing, guys? And I always give the company credit. They've been growing the business, right? They have, absolutely. I can't deny that. They have. And they just stated they're going to continue to do that. Cool. But the shareholders for the past 3 years have been destroyed with no return on their negative positions. Right now, you're only in the plus if you never bought in anywhere above where it is right now, essentially. So unless you bought a 005 and that was your first buy ever, unless you bought under where it's at right now, you're not, like, you're holding a lot of red in a lot of positions. So even if you bought your average down, that does not change that those positions that you bought at 10, 8, 6, 4, 3, whatever, does not change that those in the red. And I'm sure you would love to see those turn green in the future, unless you're some kind of weird investor that loves red positions. I don't know. You tell me, but I think it's very clear that if they're going to continue this trend, well, unfortunately, yes, the company grows, but the shareholders get destroyed. That's been the pattern. You cannot argue that. Just like I can't argue the fact that, I mean, they have been following through. They have been growing the business. I cannot take that away from them. But at the same time, you zoom out on this chart, and since they've been growing the business, what has happened to the share price? It's been getting absolutely shellacked. And if it's true that they're just going to continue doing what they're doing, I mean, the trend is pretty clear. Business grows. The business grows. Let me pull up my whiteboard. It's rare that I pull up the whiteboard, but let's pull out the whiteboard. Where's my whiteboard? So if this trend continues, I think this is pretty easy to map out here. Okay, so the business continues to grow. Nice. Look at that. Look at that growth. I love it, right? You love growth, but the shareholders, on the other hand, if anything, if the trend continues here, this is what's been happening. And if it continues that way, I mean, we're just going to see shareholders continue to get destroyed. Honestly, that's been the trend for the past 3 years. When you compare business growth versus shareholder net positive return, which is pretty much zero, unless you literally bought the absolute bottom at 005s right now. Like, that was your first buy, and you're sitting pretty in green right now because it's at 006s. So you make what you want of this video. Honestly, like I recognize Fluff, so I know that his hour-long video, was completely unnecessary. Just a ton of fluff we've already heard before. Just like, so I know Fluff. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a Fluff channel, really. Let's be real. But jokes aside, yeah, a whole lot of fluff we've already heard, and it was a whole nothing video, really. Honestly, okay, you're gonna uplist and then you're gonna start the PR machine. Great, I look forward to that because that might be what changes the trend that's been happening for the past 3 years, which is you don't drop that many PRs. The few that you do, okay, it sends it up, but then it just continues trending to the downside. And yes, I get that the business grows, that's cool, but I mean, shareholders continue to get destroyed. That's been the pattern. Hopefully that changes after the uplist for the sake of longs. And trust me, as a swing trader, I would rather this stock bottom out somewhere so it makes it easier to swing trade. Because once it's bottomed out, then we all just buy at the bottom. We swing trade it. Longs can see their share price, their shares go in the green as it climbs higher and higher. That is what's ideal, right? Because we all win. I know some people want to make it, oh, it's me against you, but ultimately we're all here for we're all here for ourselves. If you go in the green and you're up 1 billion and your friend over there's up only $10, you're gonna probably sell. Like, I just became a I just made 10 billion, and you're, screw you, I'm dumping it. And you, with your $10 net positive return, you're about to be in the red because I'm about to dump all these shares. Like, let's be real. That's what it is. You think GME cares about the people holding the bag at 60? No one cares about the people holding the bag at 60. Have fun holding that bag. The people that made money, they walked away with that bag of money, and they're happy. They don't care about anyone else. Let's keep it real. Let's talk about what it actually is. We are here for ourselves to make our money. I hope it works out for Ilus, but I would put my money into ATX based on just what they've said. This is how I interpreted it, by the way. Maybe other people with a more positive bias might interpret it differently, but I think you can't argue with the business it's been growing, but the share price has been doing what exactly? I don't think you can argue that one because the data is there. and I'll see you guys in the next one.